everybody. Welcome back to Kruse Control. It is Thursday, January 26th, 2023. Thank you for being here on Kruse Control, the home of entertainment news. Appreciate you being here as always. I am your host, Brian Kruse. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. And joining me here again, as always, is Miss Sabrina Vittori. Sabrina, welcome back to the program. How's your day today?
Hi, Brian. How are you?
Doing great. Doing awesome. Having a great Thursday. Can't believe the week's almost done. Blows my mind. Goes by so fast.
Goes so fast. I know. The older you get, it's true. Youth is wasted on the young.
Unfortunately, yeah. But we're still young. Come on, we still got this.
Maybe you are.
We 100% still have this. That's all I'm saying. And
Right.
joining us for the very very first time here on Kruse Control is Miss Rachel Blakely. Rachel, welcome to the program. How's your day been?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so happy to have you. Rachel's been tuning in, checking out the program, and I'm so happy to have you here tonight. Just tell our viewership a little bit about yourself and why you wanted to be here on Kruse Control tonight.
Hi. Well, I did some kind of guest spotting on the Three Demers podcast with Lexi from Monday's show, and I believe Jacob's been on the show as well.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. And Lexi was here too, which is awesome.
Yeah. So I worked with them a bit on their podcast, the Three Demers. I've also done a guest spot on Cinema d'Amore with Justin Morgan. And so I kind of fallen into the guest spot groove.
It's a good place to be. It's funny to introduce or get to work with different people and jump to different shows and have some great conversations. And yeah, I met you through Lexi and also through Jacob, and we were having a little conversation about it. We're very happy to have you on the program, give you a little insight to everything we do here on Kruse Control. It should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Happy to give my opinion on anything.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about, with a lot of opinions here on Kruse Control. We love to talk about stuff. And as we say, we're a lot of entertainment people here come on the show too that talk about stuff from an inside perspective. A lot of shows, you see a lot of shows on the internet, people just talk about stuff, and it's great, but that's what we try to do. We try to have some fun, have an entertainment background, and get into some stuff and have some different kind of opinions on things. So appreciate you being here. It's going to be fun. But it's Thursday, so as always, we have to jump into some news. So as always, now it's time for some breaking news. And GR, I saw you in the comments there. Welcome back, GR. As always, thanks for being here on Kruse Control. All right, we're going to jump into a little bit of breaking news, and as we have done doing a past couple days, we do a little bit of just kind of jumping into some things before we get into our discussion pieces. So the very first thing that I want to talk about tonight is Julian Sands. Now, Julian is an actor that's been around for a long time, since like the 80s, and a very well-known actor. And unfortunately, he has gone missing. So this is something, he's actually lives here in the Valley. He's a British actor, 65 years old. And he went missing at Baldy Bowl area just almost 2 weeks ago. Almost 2 weeks ago, they've had helicopter searches, drone searches, people on foot. They've been looking for him everywhere. They actually found somebody else who got missing in the same time frame. They found somebody else, but they have not found Julian. Now, you might know Julian from Phantom of the Opera. He was on 24 for a long time. One of the big shows I know him from is Arachnophobia. He was the doctor on Arachnophobia. So he's a great actor, very talented. It's unfortunate he went for a hike and he disappeared. And now that it's almost 2 weeks have gone by, I don't know if we'll find him or not. I know a lot of his family is kind of giving up hope, but we're here pushing for him. Hopefully they find him soon. We'll keep you updated if they do. A lot of people are looking for him, and hopefully someone will be able to save him. I really hope so. And somebody else in the news, speaking of saving, they're saying that Harrison Ford will be saving Shrinking. Now, Shrinking is a new show coming out here. It starts actually tomorrow. It debuts on Apple TV+. All right, but it's Jason Segel's new show where he plays a therapist that can't deal with the passing of his wife. She died a year ago, and now he's having a breakdown. He's having a hard time talking to his patients, and he starts saying too much and telling them to do things they would normally not do, and it actually starts working. To me, it looks like it's a fun show. There's 10 episodes coming out. Like I said, it starts tomorrow. But he's getting kind of bashed a little bit. They're saying if it wasn't for Harrison Ford, it wouldn't be good. We'll find out very soon if that's true. But also, speaking of therapists and people that help people out, Frasier's coming back, everybody. That's right. There's a revival for Frasier, and I was just like, this is happening. This is totally happening, everybody. And Frasier, it was a huge show. It went from like, was it 1993 to 2004, which is insane to me. It was 108 Emmy nominations. It won 37 of them. Best actor for it's insane. It's been a great show, and it's returning with Kelsey Grammer. He's going to come back. And they're saying now he's in a different city, living a different life with new challenges, new relationships to forge, and an old dream or two to finally come true. So it's going to be coming out soon. They haven't released it. They're just finalizing casting. So more information will be coming about that soon. So hopefully it's good. I'm excited about it. I love Frasier. When I was, growing up, I loved putting it on. It would be like 5 a.m. or something like that. Reruns forever. It's a great show. But also speaking of revival coming back, How I Met Your Father is in the news, and it's because Neil Patrick Harris is back, everybody. That's right. Barney Stinson is coming back. He actually did his reappearance on the season 2 premiere, and now they're saying he's going to have a bigger storyline. They don't want to bring in these characters from How I Met Your Mother unless they have like a big impact on the script and the storyline and the characters moving forward. So they're saying that he will have a big impact. What it is, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, How I Met Your Father is streaming on Hulu right now. So I love Barney. He had the bro code. Barney was awesome, and especially Neil Patrick Harris. I feel like he started playing this character where he was the ladies' man. When it's like Doogie Howser is now the ladies' man. Hold on, it worked in Harold and Kumar, and it worked great on this. And he, Barney probably has 1 million kids out there somewhere. I'm just saying, and he's probably hoping they're not the children of the corn. I'm guessing he's hoping they're not the children of the corn, because that's coming back, everybody. Children of the Corn is coming back as a redo, Stephen King's project, for the AMC Network's horror streaming service, Shudder. Now, it's going to go to theaters first. They're going to have a release coming out March 3rd. They're going to do an 18-day release before it actually goes to Shudder for streaming. So they're going back to the 80s and bringing back Children of the Corn. And, if you know anything about this, about a girl pretty much that goes into the corn and she gets possessed, and then she gets all of her friends possessed, and then they all start killing all the parents. It's pretty brutal. I really wasn't a big fan of it. But again, we talked about this in the show 1 million times. They love pulling from the 80s, pulling from the past, redoing stuff that honestly could just be left behind. But, they just want to bring back serial killer kids. Why not? Everybody's serial killer kids time. And speaking of serial killer, let's talk about the Joker for a second, too. Mark Hamill, everybody, one of my favorite voice actors for the Joker, says he's done playing the Joker, which is really sad. I mean, he's kept coming back for video games, for renditions. It was great. But now that Kevin Conroy has passed his Batman, he says, my Joker has to be done too, because how do you have Joker without his Batman? And for the longest time, that was his Batman. So without him, Mark Hamill says he's stepping down and he's letting it happen. He's giving up the Joker. So I don't think that cartoon's going to be the same, but cartoons that will be the same. One more thing in our breaking news section. The Simpsons, Family Guy, and Bob's Burgers are coming back for not 1, but at least 2 more seasons. Now, you probably say to yourself, well, they're probably not going to end because Simpsons been around this will be their 35th and 36th season. 35th and 36th season. Family Guy, what's this? 22nd and 23rd. And I was like, that's been around that long? And even Bob's Burgers, which I've known for a long time, but I didn't know it's gone. Now it'll be 14th and 15th season renewal. So it's insane. All these are renewed. 2 seasons. They're all in the top 10 comedies of 2022. They're huge. So they just keep going and they just keep going and they just keep going. And to me, I believe that they're great shows. I'm going to go to Sabrina here right now. Sabrina, you hear about this. What do you think about Simpsons and Bob Burgers and The Family Guy actually coming back for not 1, but 2 more seasons? And do you think that it warrants it, or do you think that these shows need to move on? Oh, Sabrina, you're muted, so we can't hear you. Sorry about that. Makes me feel old. I know it does. It makes us all feel old. What do you think about that, Sabrina?
I've been watching The Simpsons since I'm basically a child, like when it was a sketch on the Tracy Ullman show. So I feel like that is just part of the fiber of television. And I have no problem with that carrying on. I don't watch it as much as I used to. It is one of the only successful from TV to movie things, in my opinion. I loved the Simpsons movie. Which is really rare for me. If anybody who's been watching the show,
and people hate on that movie too. People hate on it, but it's a great movie. So,
Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. It's my favorite. I love it. So I'm down for that. Bob's Burger, I also love. Bob's Burgers is super fun. It's the I hate that I don't remember his name, but the same guy who voiced Archer.
Archer,
and he is
he's
hilarious.
so good.
H. John Benjamin.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel. I literally was I spent 5 minutes looking for it, and you know, who wants to waste that time when we're live? Thank you. I appreciate that. He's amazing. All of the voices on there are amazing. The characters are so great, like the main characters and the offshoot characters too. The Family Guy, I'm hit or miss on. It used to be really great when it came back.
Family,
I feel like it's hit or miss for me. Although I do, you know, love Seth MacFarlane, but I just, you know, it's definitely hit or miss for me.
Yeah, and these shows, like, honestly, they have so much momentum. It seems like they're not going to stop. And think about this. Family Guy was canceled. It came back. It still has staying power. Simpsons is just like the longest running show ever, which is insane. Rachel, what do you think about this? Are you a fan of any of these shows? And are you excited about them all coming back? Or maybe there's something you're not excited about. Let us know. What do you think?
I really love Bob's Burgers, so I'm always happy to have more Bob's Burgers. But I feel like after these next 2 seasons, it's kind of time to start ramping all 3 of them down. Like, they've all, I feel like, run their course. The Simpsons, they keep having to change their backstories to make them still stay the same age in universe. So, like, they've had to go from Homer being in high school in the 70s to now in the 2000s. So
I didn't know that.
I think it's time.
That's hilarious.
Guys. I think it's time to call it a day. The show's been on longer than I've been alive. And I'm over 30, so I think it's time.
It's like, guys, come on. I mean, how much more can you do? And they say The Simpsons has done it for everything, right? It's an ongoing joke because they've been around for so long. And the fact they're giving it 2 more seasons right off the bat means they don't want this to stop, I don't think. Fox is like, let's just keep it going. And the ratings are great. The fact that
they have a clairvoyance to them. They've predicted a lot of things on The Simpsons. I'm just saying.
They have.
But is it still relevant?
I mean, it was relevant. They predicted Donald Trump becoming president, basically, and that was only like, what, 6 years ago? So I'm going to go, it's still relevant. Just saying.
Things are still popping up in culture, in life. But the thing is, though, too, like I said, they're in the top 10 for the best comedies of 2022. So if you already have that, you have winning comedies, and you have a built-in audience. Rachel, isn't it hard to cancel something like that? Do you think that
That's
Fox
fair.
would be reluctant?
I think from a financial standpoint, they absolutely want to keep it going as long as they can still get any money and any merchandise sales out of it. They'll keep it going. But it's just from a viewership and artistic standpoint, what's left to do.
There's a lot of money grabs here, and Lexi said in the comments too, like it's been going on so long.
I think keeping The Simpsons on makes more sense than bringing back Frasier. but
they want to bring Frasier back. That's what I'm saying. I liked Frasier when I was younger, and it's always fun to watch, but it's like, do we have to? It's like Night Court too. They brought Night Court back, and it's doing great. But it's doing great, and that's what we talk about all the time on this show. It's just like they keep going back in time and say, well, what else can we reboot now? What else can we remake? Because we might have an audience still, or maybe it had an audience one time before, so it can have an audience again. And then, like, Family Guy was one of those shows. Like I said, it got canceled, and they brought it back, and look at how well it's thrived because of that. Seth MacFarlane's laughing his ass off all the way to the bank. You know, like, I mean, and it still works. I don't know how it still works. Sabrina, do you think that Simpsons still works, or do you think that it should be done? I mean, you said you haven't watched it in a while, but do you think that it still works?
Yeah, so I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, I have not watched it in a while, so I can't say whether it holds up. But if Fox is renewing it for another 2 seasons, that means the numbers are good, you know, and that's what they're looking for. Unfortunately, that's what everyone's looking for, and that's why there's so few original ideas, because no one wants to take a chance on something, you know, that they're not sure it's going to do well. They'd rather stick with things that they know were successful at one point or are successful now, instead of taking a chance on something new, which I think is a huge mistake, but it's something that is happening, I feel like, more and more. That's why there's all these reboots and redos and prequels and it's sequels. It's just like no one has an original idea anymore. They're making movies, TV shows, and TV shows, movies, and it's just like, fuck, like, get new writers, like go and have contests, like have young people like start, you know, write and do, like, I don't know, they have to do something, because just recycling the same material over and over again is getting fucking old.
Yeah, but there's a trade-off here. At least it's funny. At least they're all funny. So we get some laughs, and people are still excited. It's like we talked about South Park before, South Park coming back too, and they're going to be around until 2027. So there's an audience. There's money to be made. These big people aren't going to get rid of these shows. I'm still excited to see where they go with it. I need to get back in The Simpsons. It's funny. I thought, like, I know it's been going, but I haven't watched it either for a long time. Family Guy put on every once in a while, but every time I put these shows on, I still laugh. So maybe there's still some reason for it to be on
Bob's
the air.
Burgers is the real MVP out of this group.
Hell yeah.
I mean, great for Bob. Bob is just going to keep going, hopefully, too. But the question is for you out there, what do you think about this? Are you excited about Simpsons being around and Bob's Burgers? And are you excited about these and keep going and Family Guy? Because they're going to keep happening. And because Fox will not let the rights go. But one person that it will let their rights go, actually, is Justin Bieber. So Justin Bieber's in the news, actually, right now because he's selling off all of his music. And he just did it for $200 million. That's right. Justin Bieber sold it off to Hypnosis Songs Capital, and they're going to have the rights to everything. You're talking about Baby, Baby, Baby to his song Sorry. I mean, they get everything. They get paid every time the song is played anywhere and everywhere now. They acquired his 290 song back catalog. Anything from before December 31st, 2021 is theirs now. So he let it go. Another big artist that did this before was Bruce Springsteen, but he sold his off for $500 million. So he let it all go. I don't know what's happening in his life right now. Let it go. I guess he's been fighting a lot of different problems in the news. So let's go with Rachel. Rachel, what do you think? Do you think this is a smart move by any kind of artist to sell off your library like this? I mean, it is a lot of money. Or do you think that he's going to regret this later on?
I think it depends on the artist. For Justin Bieber, I don't see him being a legacy artist that's really going to have relevancy much past the next few years. So I think for him to sell right now is a brilliant idea for him if he wants to cash in while the cash in is still good. Someone like Springsteen, though, like he's a legacy artist. He's always going to have relevancy. He's always going to get heavy play. So $500 million is quite a lot, though. So maybe he did do the smart thing there for Springsteen. But some of these early to mid 2000s artists that their music just doesn't have the staying power. I think, sure, sell it off, make the money while you can.
Yeah, take that money and run. Especially, right, like what's Bieber have? Like, honestly, moving forward, he's still releasing music. I was surprised he had 290 song library. I'm like, what? He's got that much music? What do you think, Sabrina? Do you think that this is a good move on him, a good business move, or do you think that maybe the opposite, he should have not done it? Because like what Rachel's saying, I kind of agree on, like, you never know how volatile the industry is. He doesn't seem like he has staying power. He's not the boss. What do you think, Sabrina? Do you think this is a good idea or a bad idea?
I mean, I guess he's been singing and getting residuals from songs long enough to know like what he normally makes, like on royalties. So if that volume is to him not as important as $200 million, like it's like when you win the lottery, do you want it every single week or do you want it all at one time? The weird thing that I think about it is that he's so young. Like usually people who do this are well on in their years, like Neil Young, Stevie Nicks, ZZ Top, Steven Tyler, like you said, Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, like Def Leppard. Like these are all people who are, close to the end of their careers, kind of, you know what I mean? So like for them to do it, it makes a lot of sense because how long are they going to be reaping the little bit of money here and there, for royalties? So, go out with a bang. It's just, he is so young and his fan base has been with him for a long time and they're all young. So like, I know what you're saying. Like he doesn't seem like a legacy artist and I tend to agree. I didn't think he would last as long as he has already though. So who knows, you know what I mean? Like he could be, and it could wind up being a mistake, but he's also going to make new music and that music will be his own. So I don't know. I'm mixed. I have mixed feelings about it.
It's like letting go of the past in a way, like letting go of that little kid star that Usher found a long time ago and being like, I'm a new person. Maybe he'll change his name. Maybe he'll change his whole persona. You never know. But then again, maybe he just wants to get out. It could just be as simple as that. Like he's just done. He's like, I don't want to deal with the fame. I don't want to deal with the fortune. I just want to get out there and just live my own life.
If he didn't want to deal with the fortune, he wouldn't sell his shit for $200 million. He wants the fortune. He's all about that fortune.
He wants the fortune, and he's changed a lot since he was a little kid, like we see this picture next to Sabrina. But baby. I don't think he wants all that, maybe he doesn't be doing tours. Maybe he just wants to collect that money and sit at home and get a paycheck. I mean, a lot of people want that, especially after COVID. So maybe he's just done with it all, He'll get what's this? He still got the hair. We got a comment. He still got the hair. He can still throw that hair in the air. I think his hair's a little bit shorter now.
The weird thing about selling off your music is that you have no control over where your music plays. Like, so if that company, if Hypnosis wants to sell it to, a film, that portrays things that you're against, it doesn't matter. If they want to put it in the back of a porno, they can, if the porno pays them, you know what I mean? So like you kind of give up your control. Like when Michael Jackson acquired the rights to the Beatles music, Revolution was in a Nike commercial in like the 80s, in 88 or something like that. Like, so you have no control over what your creative, image has made, what you've made, you created, you're an artist, you know what I mean? So I think, especially again, because he's so young, there are so many years that his music can be, on, I don't know, tampon commercials or like mayonnaise commercials or like
Viagra commercials. It could be anywhere,
movie like that. You would be like, oh my God, this is the worst movie ever made. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's a little weird being so young and doing that.
I can see it now.
I don't know how much he's really cared about his music being used in any sort of way anyway, up until this point.
Yeah, I don't know either. I can just see now there's like a Viagra commercial or something. Like, you want to have babies. Oh, get this Viagra.
I don't think that's I don't think that's what Viagra's used for, buddy. I don't think anyone's trying to make babies with that.
I mean, you never know. Birth control. Maybe you don't want babies. I think there could be a lot of fun with this. People could have fun, and whoever Hypnosis could do whatever they want with it now, as we're saying, because it's just out there. They have control. As an artist, you're giving away all your rights for that. And, of course, there's a trade-off, $200 million. Rachel, would you sell off your life's work for $200 million?
My life's work isn't worth anything right now anyway. So,
but if I had
a pop career, sure. Like if I was a waning pop star, why not? If I was still a pop star who had relevance, like if I was like a Britney Spears type, no, I'd hang on to that, because Britney Spears, Taylor Swift, those kind of pop stars, their music holds its value much better than I think Justin Bieber's does.
Yeah,
Britney
it's like kind of
Spears?
that. I think she does more than him. I think 100%.
When was the last time she made a song?
She's always like,
she's in the news for not having power of attorney over herself, but like she hasn't done music. I mean, she has a residency in Vegas for a while. Like,
I would say that she's more influential than Justin Bieber's been. Justin Bieber's really, when he started, like, honestly, he was a little kid that girls were going crazy about, and that is like throwing his hair and dancing a little bit. And it was like
worked with a lot of really prominent musicians. You know what I mean?
But that's because Usher found him.
Sheeran, he has songs with Usher. He's had quite I don't like
Britney's been bigger. It's Britney, bitch. I'm just saying.
Goes crazy, marries dumbasses, and has babies, and can't have control over her own money. That's why she's famous. Like, let's be honest, not a great singer, not a great songwriter. She was in the Mickey Mouse Club. Like, I mean, she's very subpar at best. She stays in the news because of all of her problems. Like, I'm not going to call her a legacy anything.
I think people will know her.
Justin Bieber in the 90s, though.
Well,
I agree with you, Rachel.
Justin Bieber was the every little girl's wet dream for years.
He was. Yeah. It's very unfortunate to say that, but it's very true.
It's 100% true. As many guys wanted to fuck Britney Spears, girls wanted to fuck Justin Bieber. Let's be real. Just saying.
I feel like, though, in the tilting blocks, I feel like that Britney's lasted longer, and I feel like she's going to be still a bigger icon because she's more on the lines of somebody else that's in the news today, and that would be Madonna. We're gonna tie this all in, everybody. Madonna's also in the news, and Madonna's in the news not for, well, it is going to be for her singing, but also because she had a biopic that was supposed to be coming out very soon, and Julia Garner from Ozark was in it. Yeah, she was supposed to play Madonna. Can you imagine? You're lined up to play Madonna. Madonna was going to direct. She was co-writing the whole thing. It was supposed to all be moving forward for Universal Pictures. Insane this was all happening. And then, of course, Elvis has been in the news, so you'd think this would make sense. We just talked about Michael Jackson's biopic is coming as well. So it makes sense that this would be happening too. Madonna worked on the script with multiple different people. She's co-writing it. She worked with another artist, and then I'm trying to, I don't know, I guess our things are going a little crazy. She's working with Aaron Wilson on this script, and it didn't work out because now Madonna's like, I'd rather go on world tour as opposed to actually releasing this and directing this movie and creating this movie. But you would think someone like Madonna, who's a pop icon, like honestly, I would say Britney Spears is like the next Madonna in a way. I don't know if her career will continue for as long as Madonna has or be as influential, but I still say after Madonna, who else is the next big female pop star? Is kind of Britney Spears. I'm throwing it out there. Yeah, okay, you got me there. Lady Gaga is pretty huge. But you know, and I think she falls in that same area. But a biopic about Madonna, I'm surprised that she's not making this happen, and there's not more people fighting for this, for her to be like, hey Madonna, just bring this out, this is gonna be huge. And being in this cast as this role, being cast as Madonna, have it taken away from you, I can't even imagine what's that like. She must be heartbroken by it. It's such a big opportunity. Sabrina, you hear about this, do you think this is a good thing that Madonna's stepping away and not making this right now, or do you think this is a problem and she should have actually moved forward and made this movie?
I mean, I think anyone who's making their own biopic is like probably going to skew it in whatever way they want to. And it's not going to be really a biopic. It's going to be a, embellished story about what they want you to see of them. Like I don't really see it. I feel like it's going to be more fiction than fact. You know what I mean? If you have a hand in portraying yourself, you're going to paint yourself in a better light. I think the real news here is that Madonna has directed 2 films before. Like, are you kidding me? 2 films? Mm-hmm. I mean, they were crap, obviously, but
one with David Harbour in it.
For her to be co-writing, and yeah, but it was even he said it was terrible.
But he was excited to be directed by Madonna, though. He was super excited.
Who wouldn't be? I guess you know. But for her to be co-writing, directing, and controlling the content, I really think I think everyone is better off for her going off on tour instead of doing this project right now, honestly.
Okay, well, that's one side. Rachel, what do you think? Do you think this is good that she stopped making this biopic to focus on her musical career? And also, I'm going to go with you. You're right. Lady Gaga is a bigger star than Britney Spears, especially because she is venturing more into TV and film and also recording at the same time, which is what Madonna did too, kind of set the path for that. What do you think about Madonna right now? Think this is a good path for her to take to give up on the movie for now, or do you think she's going to regret it?
I've got kind of mixed feelings about it because I do agree. Like, no one should make their own biopic. Like, obviously, you're going to end up editing it to make yourself look just amazing and cut out all the shitty things you did. But biopics these days are kind of that way anyway. Did Elvis really dive into how shitty Elvis behaved?
Yeah.
But also, my other kind of feeling on it is who knows your story better than you? So I do think her having a heavy hand in it would be good, but maybe not necessarily being completely in creative control over it.
Yeah, I think she has to have some kind of say in it, especially because she's still alive. Most of the time, these biopics come out after the people have passed away. And then, there's no person that's there to be like, no, this isn't true. We had a comment out there, which I'll agree upon. One of the best biopics is the Weird Al movie. I'm just saying it was awesome. And Madonna was great in that too. Madonna was amazing in that, played by Evan Rachel Wood. I thought she did phenomenal. It was a lot of fun. Of course, it's a parody of the biopic. If anybody saw the Weird Al one, Weird with Daniel Radcliffe. Of course, Madonna and Weird Al didn't have.
Very
I know it very much is, but of course they didn't have this love affair where they're having sex all over Weird Al's mansion. That didn't happen, and they didn't join some cartel. But it's fun if you watch the movie, and it might pique your interest on that. But yeah, I mean, I think that she should have her hand in it, which is good because she's still alive. But the idea of her being involved that much, maybe it's not a good thing. Maybe this whole thing is for the better that she stepped aside, that people can actually take over. Maybe the same people did that's doing the Michael Jackson one will do that next, and they'll step in and help because they did such a great job with the Freddie Mercury story, with the Queen story. So maybe that'll be the thing where they'll kind of progress in there, But then again, maybe it just needs fresh eyes and she can just take a little back burner and be involved in a way, but not be in complete control. But we'll see what happens with this. Honestly, I think that she will be involved eventually. What do you think, right, Sabrina? She'll eventually get involved, right? Don't you think she'll eventually want her stostory told?
Lately, I feel like she's.
Or is Weird Al a good enough story for her?
I think it's definitely going to be more entertaining. I feel like she's been handing us a cup of crazy lately. So I'm glad she's backing off and doing what she knows, which is going on tour, honestly.
What are you talking about? Rachel, did you see there was a time not too long ago where she was releasing herself on fire? Madonna was on fire. And
promoting sex toys.
That seems really on brand for Madonna.
On brand, yeah.
If you saw her like her sex book in the 90s with all of her self-published nudes before Instagram was a thing.
It's too funny though.
Sabrina's right. She's just gone off her rocker lately. She is not taken the graceful way into the diva route like Cher has. She should have looked at Cher, watched the master class that is Cher, and gone that way. But she's trying to compete with these young artists, and she just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, she's not in that same category anymore. Yeah, it's sad. It's an unfortunate thing that happens. It's what happens with life. She's older now, and you change. It changes. Your voice changes, your category changes, your music changes. So, I mean, it's unfortunate. She's still trying to stay relevant, which she is. She's still Madonna. She'll always be Madonna.
She's never going to not sell out stadiums. Like, she'll sell out Madison Square Garden. She'll sell out, anywhere. Like, people will pay to see her until the day she dies. But everything on the other side of that is she, like exactly what you said, Rachel. She is trying to compete, with the young people as opposed to aging gracefully. And that's a perfect example in Cher. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, and maybe it's just like, for her, it's just a way of staying relevant. Maybe she was doing the movie or started working the movie and just made her miss the stage. And so she just wanted to get back on tour. Maybe after she's done with tour. Nuts. Maybe. That's a very valid point. She could be nuts. She's had a great career though, and she's seen a lot of things. So maybe she wants to get back on stage, and then maybe she'll do a movie after that. I don't know. She was a huge sensation in the 80s and on. And another thing that was huge involving the 80s that's very relevant today is Stranger Things. I want to talk about Stranger Things because it's in the news, being that Stranger Things just broke some records. It actually broke the record for what? The most streamed movie in 2022. That's right. I think it's actually of all time at 52 billion streams. That's our stream hours. That's how long it's been streamed. And it actually over its opening like 28 days of season 4, it had 1.35 billion hours of streaming, which is also nuts. And if you put that in comparison, apparently the whole Office streaming, like the whole Office hour, the Office, which went through, I think it was like 124 episodes, it streamed for 57 billion hours. So, Stranger Things is not there yet, but it's very close. And for this, it's a huge success. It's a huge win for them. Number 2 for 2022 is Wednesday as the highest streamer, which again was a huge hit for Netflix. And season 5 is going to be coming out soon, which will be the end of Stranger Things, which will probably even break even more records because, as we talked about yesterday, Stranger Things is one of the biggest hits for Netflix. And Netflix only has so many shows that are just like massive hits that where people keep tuning in for. And I wasn't surprised when I saw this, being like, oh, of course Stranger Things broke streaming records. That makes sense. Everyone's talking about Stranger Things. It has that 80s nostalgia, which I think is huge and helps it be successful. Rachel, you hear about this. Are you surprised that Stranger Things broke streaming records? And do you think that season 5 will just do even bigger numbers?
I think season 5 will keep pace. I'm not surprised to hear that it's kind of been the biggest streaming phenomenon of the year. It's the most close to what we used to have with group television watching back in the day when you had like just time slots and you watched what was on. And the next day you'd all go to the water cooler or whatever social event you're at and just talk about the whatever television you watched. So Stranger Things has kind of filled this cultural gap for large scale viewing, which I think is really interesting. Do I think it's the best show that came out last year? No. But do I think it's culturally significant in the fact that it's getting people talking about like regular viewing again? Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely leaving an impact, which is great. I love the show, but I hear you. There's a lot of shows that are a lot different. This is still kind of a niche kind of show, right? Compared to other big entertainment. It's not. I'm thinking about Severance. That's the first show that comes off my head. Severance is like a drama, a very in-depth psychological kind of drama that deals with a lot of humanity issues. It's different. It's not dealing with that. It's kids fighting monsters. That's what it is. It's like Goonies. It's pretty much Goonies. And it's fun. It's lighthearted. It's darker tones, but it's just well done. And it really pulls on heartstrings and pulls in an older generation to watch a younger generation, which I think makes it a big hit. Sabrina, what do you think? Do you believe that Stranger Things is going to be a even bigger hit for season 5? Does this surprise you with the numbers, or do you think this is on par for this series as a whole?
I think it's on par with the series as a whole, for sure. My thing is, if I'm looking at these numbers, I'm much more impressed with Wednesday's performance because it's a brand new show. It has 0 following, and it came out of the box with a very small number below Stranger Things, which has been out for years, which has a following, which has a fan base, and like, so Stranger Things, the previous episode, the previous season 3, was 3 years before they released season 4. So there is a shit ton of anticipation. When there was like, oh, Stranger Things coming back, everyone was like, fucking finally, what? And then they rewatch all the other seasons, we're all caught up, see what's going to happen. Like the anticipation level, I think, is like unparalleled for a series. So it makes sense to me that the first 28 days of season 4 was insane viewing because people have been, they've been following the show for years.
Waiting for it.
Yeah, Wednesday, brand new show out of the box, almost caught them, in the first 28 days, which is the cycle that I believe Nielsen was measuring. So, I mean, Stranger Things, yes, on par. Yes, great show. I do love that it's original content. And even though Wednesday is based on, the Addams Family, which is not new, the content was new. The direction they took with it was new. It's a different idea. Ozark was also in the top 3 there, which is also an original show. So I think with these numbers, people out there who are creating things should try to make new and different, awesome things instead of doing the same bullshit over and over and over again. I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but I have had enough.
Wednesday is based on an existing property, though.
Yeah.
That's what I said. But the take on it is totally different.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
There's never been following her. And she's like kind of like a Nancy Drew situation going on. There's all new characters. Everyone has powers. Like it's a totally different take on it.
Absolutely. But you have like the existing Addams Family hype. So like there is a built-in audience there. Yeah.
I mean, ish. I don't think enough to warrant those numbers though. And I think Tim Burton had a lot to do with it, because he has his own audience as well. But I still, even though it is based on the Addams Family, which I said, like, I do think that it was a completely different direction than anything that's ever come out relating to the Addams Family. Even the show, which went on for seasons, you know what I mean? I think that it hit a good demographic of viewers, like people my age are watching it, but then you also are in that, which is the same thing with Stranger Things. You have that younger audience that's like growing with the characters. So I feel like that's, a really big deal to hit the different demographics of viewers.
Yeah. I also think for Stranger Things though too, it's the separation as well. Like you waited that long. Of course, there's a long wait from 3 to 4, right? Seasons 3 and 4. I know because of COVID, because of a lot of things on top of that factors, but also then they broke apart the season into 2 parts. So now they left it at a good cliffhanger and kept that momentum up. And then so the back half did just as well. So the question is, will that work? Will they do this? I think they are doing the same thing actually for the next half. Do you think that's kind of a way of, I guess, kind of manipulating the audience a little bit there? What do you think about that, Rachel? By separating like that, do you think that makes people like want to watch it even more? Do you think that helps, or do you think that's just like a bad thing to do? I think they should just drop the whole thing at once.
I hate that trend. I hate the trend of splitting up seasons because, like,
it sucks.
What, The Walking Dead, they put out the last season over the course of 3 years. Just call it different seasons, guys. It's okay to have a short season. British TV has like 6-episode seasons. It's okay. You don't need to give us 3 episodes at a time and over 5 years. It's ridiculous. Just call it.
The world will not blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, and they pretty much are. The way they end it, they kind of like wrap it up in a way, but leave us wanting a little bit more. Especially how this one left off with Vecna. Now we finally found out who he is, and we're seeing him in his world, and it's like leading up to this fight. So it's like, okay, we kind of know where it's going. It leaves anticipation, but just put it all together. Come on, give us the whole thing at once. We don't want to wait. That we're in that world. We're in like the ADD America world where we want it now. We can't wait for shit, and or just make it 2 seasons. Don't call it A and B. It just confuses people too, which is a problem. But I don't know. This group of kids are fantastic. I love them. I'm excited to see where they go. Their show is coming towards an end, and another show that is coming towards an end for another great group of superheroes. They're not all superheroes on Stranger Things, but 11 is. But this group of superheroes, Doom Patrol, we found out yesterday, they're canceled. So Doom Patrol is gone. It's going away after this back half. They're also separating, doing the same thing. 6 episodes in the first half, six episodes in the back half, same as Titans. But I kind of want to focus on Doom Patrol today. So it came out in the news yesterday that it's done. Everyone's going after James Gunn. They're saying it must be James Gunn because, he's coming in. It's changing of the guard. It's got to be who it is. Well, James Gunn came out actually in the news, and he had a comment about Titans and about Doom Patrol being canceled. And here's what James Gunn had to say about this situation.
The decision to end the series precedes us, but I certainly wish the best for the talented group of creators, actors, and the rest of the crew that produced both shows.
Yeah, so he's saying, guys, this was happening before me. It's not my fault. He's not saying much again. I guess people are always giving James Gunn shit on the internet. They just are attacking him. I think it's great that he actually comments back and he tells people what's going on, because a lot of people at that level won't do that. But yeah, he's saying it's not me, guys. They had a plan for this before they even started releasing. He said months. It's been months before the show actually came out. So they knew this was it. There's going to be a cohesive story. They already actually shot that's going to end both seasons for these respective shows. Sabrina, what do you think? Do you believe this? Do you believe that this was done? Or do you think that they're scrambling and actually shooting it now and this is James Gunn's idea? Do you think we can believe him?
Yeah, no, I don't think I think if it was him, he just wouldn't say anything. Like, why would he address something and lie about it? Like, I don't really see the point in that, and also, like, though he is taking over the DC, like everything under the banner of DC, like there's still a Flash movie that's coming out. There's still Aquaman 2 that's coming out. There's still these 2 shows we're still going on. Like, I mean, to think that he's just going to come in there and pull the plug on everything, I think is ridiculous. And I think people are grasping at straws here. Like, I'm a fan of Doom Patrol. I'm upset that it's getting canceled. But if I'm being perfectly honest, the first 6 episodes of this, again, doing the stupid break in between the season, which is ridiculous, not that great. So on Titans, I thought none of it was great. So I'm shocked that they even have gone as far as they did. So I don't think it has anything to do with James Gunn. And I think people should get off his back because he's super talented and he's going to kick the shit out of this new DC fucking wave. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, but people want to give him shit. They go right to James Gunn now and they attack him on social media. And Doom Patrol, I've loved Doom Patrol too. I agree this season's kind of been like, the first half. I'm excited to see where it goes though, because it is leading for a big bad. But it's almost like it's setting up for more seasons to come. It's not just going to be 6 episodes and done to me. And Titans, I think Titans has just gone downhill. I said when it started, I go, this season's got to be canceled. But, I've liked that show a lot of times too. Last season, I liked a lot. When they were in Gotham, I thought it was great. Now, Rachel, are you a fan of Doom Patrol? And what do you think about Doom Patrol being canceled? And do you think that James Gunn has any say at all?
I love Doom Patrol. I liked it ever since the first season when it was on the DC streaming service that died. And honestly, I think if it was up to James Gunn, he would have kept it on the air. I think it was ended during the HBO apocalypse where they just deleted and canceled a bunch of shows for absolutely no reason.
Yeah. It's so unfortunate too.
It was a casualty of that kind of mix up, and we're still seeing shows that are being pulled and canceled, and I don't understand why HBO is doing any of that. But yeah, I think it was definitely not at all. If James Gunn had a say in it, it would still be on.
Yeah, because it seems like a show that's great for him.
Doom Patrol's right up his alley.
It kind of feels like they're just going to end the show with the apocalypse happening. I think the whole world's going to end and everyone's going to die. That just seems like the move that they would do.
Yeah, that they can't stop it, right? Because they are very incompetent in a lot of ways. So as you saw, as we saw in the last episode of the first 6 where the butt gets out, and he's like, oh, we left the freezer open accidentally. Like, why? Well, come on, man. But there's also another one out there too. There's another butt that's like singing show tunes in someone's apartment. So it's not like there's only one, there's 2 butts out there, 2 butts attacking, one end of the world coming. Who knows which ass is going to cause it? That's the thing. But that could be good. I could see it happening where the asses just cause problems and that's it. And then the butt apocalypse happens and everyone dies and Doom Patrol's done. I can see that happening. It's just unfortunate because like Brendan Fraser's back out there, like for all these nominations for Best Actor. I think that leads more eyes going to the show and to the program and how talented this cast is. We talked about that yesterday when we were talking about it. And like when Lexi was on here too, but we were talking about how great the cast is. And it's very unfortunate that the writing, I feel like, hasn't been there for the actors. And if it just would have, I just think that James Gunn would write like one season, that show would be off to the races. It'd be even better. But unfortunately, before he came in, it was done. They're like, we'll give you one more season, wrap them both up and call it a day. And so that's it for Doom Patrol. It's coming towards an end. And for me, I'm going to miss the show. I did like it a lot. And like, as you said, like Rachel, you're a fan. Lexi was on the show. She's a fan. There's a lot of fans out there. Sabrina's a fan. We enjoy the characters, but unfortunately,
GR's not a fan.
Changing. GR's not a fan. GR said, who gives a shit? Well, some of us give a shit. And a lot of us, and a lot of people don't. They're letting it go to the end. So unfortunately, it's done. Doom Patrol is gone. As one show ends, more begin. And, DC will have better projects, hopefully bigger and better projects under James Gunn. And maybe these characters will bleed into something down the line. You never know. You really don't. But, I'm excited to see what comes under James Gunn's guard. And I will miss Doom Patrol. I imagine you'll both miss it too. But that's how it goes.
That's a good idea.
What's she saying?
Gunn, give us a Doom Patrol movie directed by you. I'm on board with that, girl.
Let's do it. Come on, make that shit happen, James. You got support by Kruse Control. You got a lot of support out there from a lot of fans. And a lot of people would love to see it happen. So what do you ever think about that, huh? I'm excited to see if anything comes from this, if James Gunn brings it back somehow, but it sounds like it's done. We'll see. But now we gotta move on, because everybody, now it's time for our featured story of the night. And speaking of projects that aren't James Gunn's but are still existing, I want to talk about Shazam for a second. Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Yes, that is coming out here. And the new trailer actually dropped today. So everyone's kind of been talking about it on the internet. It's bigger and better. You got Zachary Levi back again as Shazam. And now you have all the kids and him dealing with who? Well, dealing with the Daughters of Atlas. They're coming in. Helen Mirren's coming, which I think is awesome. I mean, she's phenomenal. I'm like, every time I see her in something, I'm like, fuck yeah, kick some ass, Helen Mirren. I don't care how old you are. Keep kicking people's ass. Yeah, Lucy Liu coming in. Like, it's got a great cast, and I'm excited to see where this goes. I saw the trailer, and it looks great. It looks better than the first trailer, I would say. You're jumping right into a lot of action. You got Shazam fighting a dragon. It's coming out March 17th. And this is, again, one of those projects we were talking about that's not James Gunn. And Zachary Levi said, I'm sticking around, we'll see, I talked to James, going to be fine. And he's another one of those people that are kind of like, we're going to see what happens once the movie comes out. Of course, talk about, Aquaman sticking around. That's what he says. Maybe he's not. I don't know. James Momoa is saying that, but I don't know what's going to happen with Jason Momoa. Who knows? So what do you think? I'm going to go with Rachel on this first. What do you think? Did you like the trailer? And do you think that Zachary Levi is going to have a chance to stick around playing this character now under James Gunn?
I definitely like the trailer. I thought it was really exciting. I think it's going to be interesting to see how the whole band of ragtag teenagers takes being super people.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's going to be more films after this. I think they're just kind of end it here, call it a day for Shazam. They got 2 good movies out of it. It took like 5 years between the 2 films, I feel like.
Took so long.
I don't think there's going to be any more longevity out of that series going forward. But I think it's good that they're at least letting this go to theaters and have a chance.
Yeah, they're letting it happen. And the thing is, to me, this kind of seems like it's James Gunn's world too. There's comedy. Mm-hmm. The superheroes seem like they're funny. Zachary Levi can be great. So to me, it seems like, especially watching this new trailer, they're leaning into the comedy more, but they're also showing how badass he can be. Like I said, that whole sequence where he's fighting the dragon at the end is really cool. To me, I'm like, please don't be like the last thing at the end. Please let that be a villain in the beginning, but it probably is like the big bad at the end, because they love doing that shit in all these trailers, especially DC. I feel like they give away a lot in these. But to me, I'm like, this seems, to me, out of all the actors, I thought he maybe could stand a chance because it is the comedy. It leans into that, like you said, that ragtag kind of group, which James Gunn kind of gravitates towards in all of his projects. Look at Suicide Squad, you know, the ragtag group coming of villains. Look at the Guardians. It makes sense to me that he would be like, let's keep this going. Sabrina, you saw this. What do you think? Do you think that this is going to be it? Just like Rachel, when this is done, this will be the last thing with Shazam. Goodbye to Zachary Levi. Or do you think that James Gunn's going to be like, hell yeah, bring on that Shazam? Did you like the trailer?
I didn't love it. I'm sorry. I did not love the trailer. Like, I love Helen Mirren and I love Lucy Liu. She was a badass in Kill Bill, and Helen Mirren is just like certified badass at all times. You know, and I love that. I wanted to like it more than I did. Like, I was like, oh fuck, Helen Mirren, oh Lucy Liu, but then I watched it twice and I was just like, eh. Like, I love Zachary Levi. I like the first Shazam. I love Zachary Levi. He was great in Marvelous Miss Maisel. He was great in Chuck. Like, he's a really good actor, and I love the first Shazam. But
good old Chuck. You ever watch Chuck?
What?
He was Chuck. That was his show, right? Chuck.
Yeah, that's what I said. He was great in Chuck. Yeah, of course. He was. I don't know. He was great in the first one. I think the charm in the first one was him finding himself, him finding the power, seeing what to do with it. And then I think that was part of why it was so good. But now they're already there, you know, and I understand they're probably going to still be trying to figure things out. But from the trailer made it look like there is much more adult than there is child. You know, which I don't know how I feel about it. Honestly, I don't. I hope it's good because I like him and I like the first movie. And the premise is adorable. But I wasn't floored with the trailer, if I'm being honest.
To me, it could be. To me, I get excited about it a little bit more. I actually got more excited when I saw it. So I'm like, okay, now he's going to have this inner struggle. Like, do I need these powers? Am I good enough for these powers? And they're saying, no, we gave these to you for a reason. It's hard to find somebody. Which again, when we go into Black Adam, which is not coming back for more, they dealt with that a lot in that movie too. Like, who is actually worthy of having these powers? And Dwayne The Rock Johnson actually wasn't worthy, but he got to have the powers, and look at the destruction it caused and the problems it caused. So like, to give these powers to somebody means a lot. And to me, Zachary Levi's character seems like it makes sense and it works for him. So I'm like, yeah, I think that inner struggle could be fun. I think it could be great. Now, the thing is though, will this line up with what they're going to do? That's the question. At the end of the day, Rachel's saying they'll probably stop. Sabrina's like, I'm not sure about this. But if it lines up somehow, Shazam, I'm going to put it out there, has never been involved with the DCU at all. He's kind of been in his own world. They showed Superman, but they only showed Superman from his head down. They didn't show his face ever. It was his neck down. So they could be any Superman. It could be any character that it could blend in with. You know, he didn't even show up in Black Adam, which I thought he would. So, I mean, Black Adam could be anybody. So with that out there, Rachel, do you think that him not being connected at all, do you think that could lead to, you know, James Gunn being like, well, maybe I could keep him around?
I still just don't see it. I still think that they were lucky to get a sequel. It's not like he's a Spider-Man or a Batman or one of those big marquee name heroes. I think he's kind of a more obscure hero that was kind of lucky to get two to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing too. And it took so long for this sequel on top of that. It took years, and it's like, you know, waiting to see what happens. And now with the whole DCU thing, I thought maybe it wouldn't even come out. And, you know, they're talking about, you know, I'm gonna have meetings with James Gunn and all that, and it's going to be great. And even that, it's like the movie's not out yet. So like, I don't think they're going to make any kind of announcement until after it's done. Cause why would you? You don't want to, we talked about yesterday, you don't want to tank the box office for this.
Right.
You know, that's always an issue. Now, Sabrina, now you know that it's not connected. They have never connected it at all. What about you? Do you think that, you're James Gunn, you're looking around, you like this guy is fun, he's lighthearted, he's joking around, he seems to really enjoy the industry, and he's a good actor, a good person. James Gunn said in an interview, as long as you're a good actor and you're great on set, I would love to have you in a movie. Do you think that'll leave some like weight on his mind to be like, maybe I should keep him as Shazam?
I mean, I honestly think that the superhero Shazam is probably not gonna show up again, like in his DC plan. Like, I don't think that there's a place for Shazam. And part of the reason is because it's not really connected, you know, as much. So I think if he does want to delve into like that aspect of the stories in the comics, like, I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. Like he's laying out a 10-year plan, and I think he's going to start with the Superman stuff and like go with like Rachel was saying, the marquee type heroes. And like by the time they would get to an offshoot of something like that, I think it would be way down the line, and Zachary Levi might be a little too old to play the part at that point. You know what I mean? I do, like I said, I love him. I loved his performance. I had zero expectations when I saw the first movie, and I was like, that was great. Like I was so much fun. You know, I don't know how I feel about this trailer, but I agree wholeheartedly with Rachel moving forward. I think this is probably going to be it.
But there's also the fact that this movie is a time jump too. They're saying they're jumping forward in time, so it's not like right after the movie. A little bit of time's come by, and now Atlas is coming down. It's like they're trying to make some time in between, which makes me think that maybe he's an older Shazam now. They haven't really said like how that's going to work or why that's going to work. Do you think if they make him older, Sabrina, do you think that would kind of help make it tie in somehow, or do you think that you really just think that he's just done? That's it.
I know you're really trying to get me to say something that I'm not going to say. It's not going to happen. Like,
I'm trying to fold.
I've given you all I have. He's lovely. I wish that there was more work for him. Maybe James Gunn will put him somewhere else. I don't know. But I just like Shazam is himself. Like that hero is like one of the very much lesser known superheroes. You know, it's like it's just I just don't see that being what they're going to sink their teeth into for this whole new regime of DC. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean that's like he's not going to be a leader by any point. Like The Rock wanted to be the face of the DCU and all that, and that I don't know how that would have worked either. Rachel, did you see Black Adam by any chance?
I didn't.
Okay, I just want to say, yeah,
it got like no advertising. I barely knew it came out.
I know, that's the thing. And now you can watch on HBO Max, and it was so fast it came to streaming, and that's always a bad sign too. But these worlds connect.
If you like slow motion, please tune in. If you don't watch it.
Yeah. And I will say that there's a lot of slow-mo. Yeah, you would think that Zack Snyder directed that movie. There's so much slow motion. But like they did tie in a little bit, so maybe that also kills it. They did tie, I guess, very minimalist. It was like the same person who gave Black Adam powers gave Shazam powers. Same actor, same character. So maybe that would be a reason alone to be like, we're not going to do this. Honestly, I'm pulling for you, Zachary Levi, but I can't. The more I think about it, I kind of agreed. Like what's the point? Like, really, what's the point?
Yeah, we changed your mind.
Yeah, like what's the point? Like, honestly, like he's been around, but he's not. Again, maybe the not being connected thing is actually hurting him more than anything else because no one's seen him do anything else besides that one movie. And then they greenlit this second movie before Zaslav took over, before there was the changing of guards, before the Discovery, merger. So the fact that it all happened beforehand, the people came in, Zaslav's probably like not sold on him, and you've already invested so much money, so you got to release the movie, right? If you don't release the movie, what's the point? Then again, Batgirl they didn't do that with, but this costs a lot more than Batgirl. So it's one of those things. We release it, get it done, make our money, and say goodbye. And do you think, let me ask Rachel one more thing before we get out of here. So Rachel, I want to talk about like an actor thing for a second. So what do you think it would feel like? Okay, you're booked in this big movie, right? And you've done a couple and you think you're all good to go. And all of a sudden the changing of guard comes. Do you stay positive? Like Zachary Levi's been like, I'm coming back. It's going to be great. Or do you just like forfeit and be like, that's it, guys. I guarantee life's changing. I'm done. But, goodbye.
I think you kind of have to stay positive for your own like mental well-being. You kind of just have to be like, all right, it probably won't happen, but I'm just going to blindly believe and will it into the universe that I will keep this job. Especially if you're like kind of that like mid-tier like actor, like for Shazam.
Yeah, and of course he wants it so bad, but you see everything crumbling around you. How do you expect like you're saying, like that mid-tier range, how do you expect that you're going to stay out of everybody? They just fired fucking Superman like that. You know what I mean? You think you're fine? You're already a B-level Superman as it is. I hate to tell him that, but he is. He really is in a lot of ways. So unfortunately, he'll probably go the wayside like everybody else. Watch the trailer, everybody. It's still a fun trailer. Hopefully the movie's a fun swan song for him. And, maybe he will come back, maybe in some world, but I wouldn't be surprised. Again, I was polling for him. Somebody had to poll for him in this show. So I was polling for him, but end of the day, he'll probably be gone like everybody else. But that's the DCU, everybody. Change is coming. Anyways, Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. We really appreciate you. Sabrina, thank you for joining me as always. Thanks for being on the show. Rachel, thank you for coming out tonight. Really appreciate you joining us, having a great conversation here on Kruse Control. Thank you so much. Hopefully have you back again soon sometime.
Absolutely.
Everybody, love to see you back. Everyone, please like and subscribe. We're at 85. We got to break that 100 by the end of the month. We're getting really close. Hopefully we can do it. Join our Patreon if you can. Tell all of your friends. Subscribe. Thank you all for being here tonight. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow on Kruse Control. See ya.